Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
Cut out the coffee, cut out those energy drinks that make you crash, and put yourself in a position to succeed with an energy boost from RockinThatIDLife.com. You'll be energized, focused, and you'll even experience an elevated mood for up to 6 hours. Check out RockinThatIDLife.com to learn more.
Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
Great goaltending. John Murphy. The twister. Jacob hits the hit. Sellout crowd. Oh, baby.
Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
Welcome to episode 11 of season 14. This is episode number 492 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated, I'm not so good with advice. Can I interest you in a sarcastic comment? We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price. My co-host for the big show tonight is Bill Day. Jeff Ponder is facing some massive allegations, and he will not be joining us this evening. The agenda for tonight includes discussion about Kevin Shattenkirk retires, and we got a few games to talk about, touch a little bit on the Flames and Edmonton game, and then we'll kind of dig in on the Vancouver game from last night. So all that and more on this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Bill, what's up? No Peter Dinklage cosplay.
No. He is at the Game of Thrones event wherever that's happening in St. Louis tonight. No, he has a St. Louis Force game tonight. So,
yep. And congratulations on your performance last week, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
last Wednesday night.
Saw some video.
Yeah,
looked good. Made some nice saves.
Yeah,
the team let you down, right in front of you.
The team was awesome to allow me to come in and play, and it's. I don't know. Like I watched some of the video and I'm like, oh my God, please tell me he slowed this down, because it's pretty brutally slow. At least I felt like my movement was super slow, and I don't know. It in my defense, it was the first time I had skated in 2 months. So if you're not skating like weekly, you lose. You lose flexibility, mobility, and the feel for the game. And it took until about the second period before I was really feeling it.
That's the way it's always been, though, right? With sports growing up, you're out there, and when we played at Oak Hill, for example, they would record the game sometimes and play them in the bar afterwards, which is kind of cool. So after you get done playing a game, you change, you come up in the bar and you hang out for a little while with the team, and you can watch the game on the TV in the bar that you just played in. So that was kind of neat. But you watch it and you're like, man, that game was slow. It seems so much faster when you're playing it.
Yeah.
If you ever sat down ice level, especially like first row at a NFL game, the pace and speed of that game is insane. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine how it feels actually being on the ice. So it's amped up even more.
Yeah. No, it was super fun to be out there. Hopefully, not wishing anything bad on Cortland, the main goalie on this team, but hopefully I get another chance in the not too distant future. Also, I had an opportunity to play with Schmieder this week, but it was a little too early for me to be done with my obligations Monday night to make my way down to the Granite City. So I had to take a pass on it. But
is that where Schmieder plays, Granite City?
They're moving all over the place because Edwardsville is harder and harder to get into with all the high school teams now. So
see, they need 2 sheets in Edwardsville.
They really do. It's such a great facility apart from that.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems like if you're going to do something, it's like just put 2 sheets. They did it in Fairview Heights with US Ice, but they that apparently the Mines did that in.
Yeah,
which was a shame.
Yeah,
because that was a cool facility too.
Yeah, that was the last time I was playing ice hockey was at that facility, and when it went under, so did my playing career.
Have you been by there since they?
Yeah, they raised it.
It's no longer there at all. There's nothing there.
Yeah,
I mean the concrete from the parking lot is still there, but it's
right.
The actual building is gone. Just a field now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Kind of sad. The LGB Minute podcast, Jeff Ponder is putting those out every week, multiple times a week. So that's available on all of your podcast outlets. Go ahead and subscribe to the LGB Minute podcast, which is basically Ponder covering a few things during the week. It's only 4 or 5 minutes or so. Just hitting the highlights, things that maybe need to be said in between the big show each week. So, which we do one of these each week. So it's kind of a nice coverall to get some highlights throughout the week.
Right. And most importantly, you hear how often I beat him in Puckdoku.
Right. Which is all anyone really cares about.
Right.
And again, that's on all of anywhere you get podcasts. Just check it out. The official beers of episode number 492. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12. Jeff's at JPonder94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, do you have a effort to go with your striking winter Christmas sweater?
My favorite. We had our work holiday thing today, and this is the closest thing I have to a Christmas sweater.
I like it.
So yeah, it's got dogs that kind of look like my dogs. So I was telling people,
it's blue and white. Not everyone's got the red and green, right?
Right.
The blue and white. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Big fan of it. It's telling everybody that asked, that if I can't be at home with my dogs are coming with me. It's also pretty much covered in Weimaraner fur. So there's that.
Well, I have a Great Pyrenees, so
right.
Which means
everything, right. Everything's white.
I'll vacuum the carpet, and 2 days later, there's like white hair. Did you just see it?
Yeah.
So you need a good vacuum cleaner with a dog like that.
Yeah.
Because you're using it a lot.
Yeah. We have robot vacs for both floors of our place.
Yeah. I do have a robot vac too.
Yeah. It's without it. Oof, yeah. It piles up quick.
The problem with the robot vac for me is that there's just too much crap that I have to organize before I let it go.
Yeah.
Like any cord that's hanging down below a table or something that's touching the floor, I don't want to get swept up, or a sock that my kids might have or something under the couch. I don't want it's just I gotta examine the entire floor and make sure nothing's laying around or anything, just to whatever.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but the biggest thing for me is dog toys. There'll be piles of dog toys, and if I don't clean them up, the vac gets stuck. So
Dexter doesn't do dog toys. He loves the treats like all dogs do, but you get him like a ball or just something to chew on. Yeah, he didn't do it. He didn't care. He's like, I can't eat this. I don't want it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Definitely don't want him eating the toys.
No, but you think some of the stuff's supposed to help the teeth, but
right.
He does have some of the minty chew things that he can eat, so he does like those. But
greenies,
anyway,
of course.
Yeah, if I toss him a ball, hits him in the face. He didn't care. Doesn't care.
What are you doing?
He didn't catch food. Like you ever seen a video like you take an American cheese, a slice of American cheese, and you toss it, and it just hits a dog in the face or whatever. That's what I'll toss it in the air and notice that he'll hit him in the face. Won't even try and catch it, and then it falls on the ground, and he sniffs it, picks it up, eats it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know it's food.
Yeah, but I do that to Sheldon, but he's blind. So before he wasn't, he's never been coordinated. So it was like 1 out of 100 tosses of anything to him he would catch. But Fritz, oh man, throw anything at him and it snaps it right out of the air. Especially like we do mini marshmallows instead of pill pockets.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Sam, my black lab, when I had him, he was all about, the exact opposite of my dog now. He's loved catching balls, treats, whatever you threw at him, he'd catch, tearing after stuff in the yard. This is just a big loafy, big loafy Yeti in my house now.
Yeah. Bird dog.
Yeah.
But Sam was a bird dog, just like Fritz.
Oh,
but
Sam was he was every bit a lab. He was tearing down the dock and jumping off for balls and stuff. He was, all right, so let's get into it.
Beers.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
beers.
We didn't even talk about it. We got
the sweater.
The sweater derailed the segment.
Yes. So mine tonight is classic Great Divide Yeti Imperial Stout. One of my all-time favorite Imperial Stouts from Great Divide in Denver. I was lucky enough to be at the airport early enough that I could have one of these on draft at the Denver airport on my way home back in October. And really good.
What else would somebody want on a rather cold St. Louis evening?
Hot chocolate.
Than an hard iced tea. Hoop tea, spiked iced tea, which I still have a few in my fridge from this summer. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get myself a nice big tall glass of hard iced tea.
Did you put ice in it?
I did. Well, I have not. I've had a few of these and I have not put ice in them. I'm like, you know what? I'm having a glass of iced tea, and it's good. It's good with the ice. I think it's better with the ice.
Yeah, I was thinking about that tonight. Just like, there's a reason why you don't put ice in beer.
Yeah, right? I've known people who put ice in wine.
Yeah. White wine.
Yep. I don't think it matters to some people. White, red.
Probably not.
They just want it cold. You need one of those stones, those bourbon stones. You get them cold.
Yep. I have a bunch of those.
Yeah, they don't water it on your drink, and they'll get it cold.
Yeah.
All right. So Jordan Binnington, Colton Parayko, and goaltending coach David Alexander and video coordinator Elliot Mondo. Yeah, it's funny that those two coaches got added. Just that's probably typical Armstrong influence, right? With this team, they have joined Team Canada they're going to represent Team Canada at the 2025 NHL Four Nations Face-Off. Which I'm sorry, it doesn't seem. I know why, but it doesn't seem right that Russia's not in it. I know why they're not, and I agree with it. Right, that's fine, whatever. But it's Finland, Sweden, U.S., and Canada. So Russia would have a juggernaut of a team too if they were in this. They'd have a good team.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see like if they actually showed up and cared after Kucherov's thing at the All-Star game last year, because there's no All-Star game this year because they're doing this. So would
which
they
is better,
actually,
which is way better. This is gonna be way better
for sure. It's not just a let's name everything after our sponsors and glad hand all the sponsors executives through this whole weekend, right? This is actually going to be a fairly competitive tournament.
Yep. And especially with the last 2-3 years with the All-Star game just falling flat on its face as far as these stupid competitions, we're going out on the beach and we're going to shoot pucks at surfboards, and I'm like, come on, stop it. Right. This is dumb. Yeah. It's not Double Dare. This is the NHL skills competition that we just do shit on the ice that you do in a game, and just skilled. I don't know. I mean, it's not difficult. Hardest shot, a passing drill. that one drill they had, that one event they had when the All-Star game was in St. Louis, when Pietrangelo was in the passing over the
in the mini nets.
Yeah, the mini nets and stuff. That was cool. That was good. I like that. You don't have to get hokey and cheesy with it, which they absolutely did.
Yeah.
But those four joined Doug Armstrong, who is Team Canada's GM. The Four Nations Face-Off will be staged by the NHL, NHLPA, and features players representing Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the United States. The nations will face off in games played from February 12th to the 20th in 2025 in Boston and Montreal. Each country will play 3 tournament games in a traditional round-robin format, while the 2 teams with the best records will advance to a 1-game final. The competition will be broadcast on ESPN and ABC and TNT Sports. So that'll be fun. Nice winter TV viewing for everyone in lieu of an All-Star game, which I think everyone will enjoy more than the All-Star game.
Right. And it's also it's a 2-week break for the NHL, right? And all the teams, that the players that aren't going are going to get time off and going to get to go do that midwinter vacation that
Barbados.
Yeah. That the wealthy get to do.
Yep. Just get to take off. So we talked about this last week. Scott Wheeler's tweet about Binnington being the most overrated goalie in hockey. And he listed in that conversation on Twitter his 3 goalies that he would have picked, and none of them actually made the team that he picked. So and Binnington did make the team, obviously. Might start for the team. Who knows? I'm sure they'll rotate in or whatever. But do you feel Binnington is the who's your choice out of the goalies? Do we have the roster? I don't have the roster up here. We should have it up.
Yeah.
But, who's it? Hill and
so who was it? He said, was it Hill, Thompson, and Kemper?
He said no. He said, oh God, what did he say? He said, let me pull up the actual roster here. Binnington, Hill, and Montalban were okay. So he didn't say Hill. He didn't say any of these. Let me pull up Scott. I should have had this ready. My bad.
When bingo takes over your life, this is what happens.
I should have mentioned that. Yeah, I was before the show. I was playing bingo, and I'd never in my life won bingo ever. I never got to say bingo, playing bingo in like a real bingo environment, and finally won tonight. It was a X pattern, and I won that one. So I got 2 bingos technically, both legs of the X, and it was me, myself, and another person got bingo on the same number, and I said it just before them. So I mean it was close, but I got it. So I was quicker to the gun. Let's see. That was it. That was the original tweet. Let's see. Where is? How long ago was this? This was last week. Oh, good Lord.
It's like 2 years ago in real time.
Binnington. Yeah, this is great radio. Latest. We'll do latest Binnington tweets. Okay. Let's see. Here it is. Binnington is the most overrated goalie in hockey. All right. Oh, and then he says his roster was Thompson, Talbot, and Kemper. So and the actual roster, the actual goalies were Binnington, Hill, and Montembeault. How do you say that? Montembeault.
Yeah.
So he got it wrong. Let's check out let's see how accurate he was with the rest of his picks here. Okay, so he's got Konecny, McDavid, Reinhart, Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon, Hagel, Point, Marner, Verhaeghe, Scheifele, Stone, Bedard. And he's got Theodore, Makar, Morrissey, Pietrangelo, Uyghur, Hamilton, Bouchard. I guess he got extras in here. And then the goalies. Crosby, Hagel, Jarvis, connecting.
He got pretty close.
He got pretty close, maybe 80% of them.
Yeah.
And the goaltending, he got
100% wrong.
he got McCarr, he got Morrissey, he got Pietrangelo, he got and that was it. Yeah, he missed Parayko.
But he missed the goalies 100%.
Oh yeah, missed the goalies completely. He big swing and a miss for the goalies, and that was the thing. Someone said, no Bennington, and he was like, that's when he said, oh, but this is the most overrated goalie in hockey. Which is stupid, because to be overrated, you have to be highly rated in the first place by everyone, or most people. And we all know Bennington is underrated by almost everyone. So his comment was stupid on two different fronts.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Benner is, if he's the most anything in hockey, it's the most hated.
Yeah.
Right. And, because, people dug up some tweets that they felt insinuated he was, racist from his youth, from his teenage years, and during the whole Kadri water bottle thing. So, that I think that, and then the always wanting to fight and never getting to fight, that's his legacy. But the last 2 years, he's been a completely different guy.
It's like anything else. Players get known for something, right or wrong. They get known for something, and then it doesn't matter if they're no longer that player anymore.
Yeah.
But that just sticks with them. The Gordie Howe hat trick. How many Gordie Howe hat tricks Gordie Howe had in his career? One.
Oh, just one? Yeah.
It was one.
I forget who was. We do this every year, and I forget who it is. There's like one guy that leads it by far.
Yeah, it's like isn't it teens or something? Is it Shanahan? Probably Shanahan.
It might be.
Shanahan's up there. I think he might have 9. Anyway.
Yeah.
D Brown SS says my robo vacuum just sucked up a sock from under the couch. LOL.
Well, at least now you know where that sock went.
That's true.
I lose socks every week when I do the laundry, right?
Right. It found your sock is what happened. You're welcome. And more of that girl, which is Amy. She says, all your bingo dreams came true tonight. They really did. Yep. And I won a prize, got to go to the table and pick out a prize. And there wasn't a whole lot left because it was fairly late in the evening, and I picked out a candle. Should have smelled the candle before I picked it out. My daughter likes candles, so I figured I'll give it to her. But it smelled like soap, which is, there are worse things, I guess, but it wasn't anything extraordinary.
Yeah. So was this a charity thing or a real going to the bingo hall?
It wasn't either. It was the ink store, the ink shop, the ink. It's there behind the government buildings in Edwardsville, a block off Main Street, downtown. Shout! I'd never heard of it before, and the inks. Amy knows it. I'm sure she'll say the ink something. But it's a neat little place. They've got a side room you can for like events and things. I guess you can rent out probably. Pretty cool. Concrete floor, brick walls, kind of a neat look. There's a bar in there. And then the other side has like a bar with tables and stuff where you can get drinks and cocktails and things. It's a neat little place. Probably a good little date night place, maybe before you go out to eat at a nice place downtown in Edwardsville. Go there and get a cocktail and then head over to wherever. I don't know. The ink store shop. The ink. I could look it up. I don't want to. Yeah. I'm waiting for Amy to respond.
Right. Amy, tell us the name, and we will never ask them to be a sponsor.
It's really hidden. I didn't even know they were there. And you drive down the road, you wouldn't see it unless you really look for their sign on the shop. So Ink House. I said ink shop. I was very close.
Samsonite.
I was way off. Yeah, the Ink House. So yeah, the Ink House in Edwardsville is a neat little place. Check it out. All right. So who's your starter between Hill, Bennington, Montemont? You've got skin in the game too, though. So you watch a lot of Montreal and Blues. So
yeah. I was shocked at the love. I mean, Sam had a great start to the season. Like first 3 games, he was really locked in, playing really well. The team was playing well in front of him. And then, that team, came down to earth, and so did he. The last few games I've been able to watch for Montreal, Caden Primo's gotten the start, so I haven't got to see a lot of him lately. But I honestly, I think I would probably, we'll have to see how the next month or so goes. I'd probably go Aiden Hill. I have not liked Bennington's season to this point. I think if this is last year, he's hands down the starter, right? He had such a great season last year, and it's just kind of having a mid season this year. And if I somebody put a gun to my head and said you only get one goalie for this whole thing, I'd pick Bennington, just because we've seen what he does in
under big games, right?
Games, right? The tournament style games. He is locked in and he's money. Aiden Hill won a Stanley Cup, right? 2 years ago. So
Hill has the best traditional stats,
right?
Of the three.
Right. Overall, other apart from wins, right? He's got the best save percentage.
He's got 12 wins.
Yeah,
this year.
You're talking this year,
this year, right? Yeah, just this year, right?
Yeah. He is definitely having the best season, and if that continues, I think he'd be my starter.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting angle. He'd probably be your number one, but if you only had to pick one goalie to play the entire tournament, it's Bennington.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think I get
it.
Right, with this format, you're probably going to give two guys shots, right? Unless they go out and play lights out and get shutouts. You're probably gonna. I don't think all three guys will see games.
Yeah,
maybe they will. Depends on how things go, I guess.
There's only 3 games before the playoff, right? The top 2 move on. So if you shit the bed in both games with different goalies, why not give the third guy a try? Maybe, yeah. I mean, and who knows if someone's not playing well, they might get pulled, and somebody might get half a game. So, or a period, whatever. Anyway, we'll see. Should be fun. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about between now and then. Some guys may get hurt. Some guys may get added to the roster as replacements for guys that get hurt between now and then. I guarantee you somebody's going to get hurt, probably on both Canada and U.S., and big question of whether they can play or not. So good to see Parayko get some love for this team. He's been an up and down guy over the past handful of years in St. Louis, with some injury issues and some inconsistent play, but last year really played pretty well, and this year I think he's been really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So is Craig Button on Blue Sky?
I was. Do you think he's on board with the Parayko pick? How long ago was that? When like 5 or 6 years ago?
It was was it last Olympics or 2 Olympics ago?
But Button wanted nothing to do with your comment on Twitter. That was funny.
Yeah, he just laughed.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he was not he didn't think as highly of Parayko as we did at the time,
right?
And you especially, because you had that comment. But and at the time,
right?
I think it was weird. At the time, we were right. I thought we were right because after that, Parayko had some injury issues, and I think that and they lingered on longer than they let on. So it was. I think his degradation in play for a season and a half or 2 seasons, whatever it was more injury related or whatever. But it was. I feel like we were right because he was. I mean,
right.
If you watched him play, you were like in awe of what he was doing. He was like, and he was so young. I was like, this guy's going to be amazing.
And the guy that was eclipsing him at that point was even younger, and that was Cale Makar. And we all weren't sold on him. Obviously, he's top 2 defenseman in the league now. But
yeah, oh my god. So anyway, that's that story will never not be funny. Bill and For if you don't know, you tell it. It was because you made Craig Button made a comment about Parayko. Didn't you respond to him first, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Something about how Button and somebody else just had absolute hate or disdain for Parayko, and he
biased
laughed
against him or something.
Yeah. And he laughed and threw a clown emoji in there. It was fun.
Yeah. So to this day, it's like, who's gonna be right in the end, Bill or Button?
Yeah, definitely Craig Button.
All right. We're due for break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk a little bit about Kevin Shattenkirk retiring, and then we'll get into some of the Blues games that they've played recently. A couple of good ones. Last one especially. So
yes.
You are listening to Kurt and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rockin' That Idea Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost, Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and IED Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your last first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatidealife.com to get started, and remember to email Dustin at rockandthatidealife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues Radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatidealife.com.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
More of That Girl says the Ink House is event space, kind of a holiday pop-up that's holding weekly bingo and trivia. So if it's a holiday pop-up, I assume they won't be there after the holidays, but we'll see. So Kevin Shattenkirk announces his retirement from the NHL, played the NHL 14 seasons, selected by the Avalanche in the first round of the 2007 NHL draft. Shattenkirk had 484 points in 952 regular season games for the Bruins, Ducks, Lightning, Rangers, Capitals, Blues, and Avalanche. 48 goals in 91 playoff games. 48 points in 91 playoff games. Shattenkirk won the Stanley Cup with Lightning in 2020, also represented the United States at the 2011 World Championships and 14 Sochi Olympics. Blues defenseman, he ranks 7th with 258 points, 7th in goals with 59, and had 32 power play goals, which is 6th, 8 shootout goals, which is 1st. So the only other defenseman in Blues history with a shootout goal, any of our listeners know? Only other Blues defenseman in Blues history with a shootout goal other than Shattenkirk was
Pietrangelo.
No. Petrangelo has an attempt, 2 attempts actually. Weidman has a goal, but he also has the
greatest shootout fail of all time.
The greatest shootout fail of all time. Just comes in and lost his center of balance, and his skates went out from under him, and it looked like he was sitting in a chair midair. It was, and it's so just weird. It's something you'd probably see like in a low-level men's league somewhere. Somebody come in trying to make a move they had no business trying to make, and they just completely just lose their balance and flip over. So funny.
Yeah, with Shat Deuces, he the thing that I'll always remember feeling better about the Blues defensive situation after we traded Eric Johnson, the former number 1 overall pick, for this guy.
Yeah,
and remember that 2-week period when Chris Stewart was good, and we were all like, "Oh, we won this trade."
Yeah. Oh my God, he was on fire, and then he was a really talented guy that just, I don't know what was it between his ears, or just had an effort problem or something. But I remember distinctly that, when he was struggling after his hot start, and then he struggled for forever with us. Every once in a while he would, get asked, what do you got to do with your game? Well, I just gotta get back to basics. I gotta do this, do that. And he's like saying all the right things on camera, but never did any of it. It was just,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every once in a while he'd pull off this amazing move, right, and score this unbelievable goal, and then he would just go and be invisible for another 3 weeks.
Everybody would be like, "Oh, he's back." No,
but he was one of the weirder Blues players that we've had in a while. Just in terms of like trying to figure out what kind of player he is, because you just didn't quite know what you were going to get with him. Just a big talent gap for him. Like his ceiling was way up here, but his floor was way down here. Is one of those guys,
right? And he's pretty much stayed to the floor after that first few weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he had 24 shot attempts. Shattenkirk did, and the only other defensemen with attempts were Weidman with 7, Eric Johnson with 2, and Petrangelo with 2. So. Shattenkirk, that was an interesting time in Blues history. So with Shattenkirk era was here, he had his fans and he had his haters for sure. So
yeah, and it was like when he got dealt, right, that was like he wanted to win so bad here, and it was like one of those things for like, we're probably never gonna win, are we? And it was kind of the same thing, like it kind of had a little bit of that feeling with Backes, but it was like Backes was the guy that had to leave before we could win, which is the worst feeling in the world.
I know, right? That's just that's rough, and to do it and with Backes do it Backes on the losing team in the Cup final. That's got to be
crushing.
Crushing is the perfect word for Backes, because he played a little bit in the final, right? First couple he played, but after that was it.
Yeah,
man, that was just
right.
And for him to retire, and it's like just to have that one of his last years is like that's just rough.
Yeah. I watched the Bennington thing when he after he broke the Blues record for all-time wins. They did the video montage, and they had the save on Backes. It wasn't in the Stanley Cup, but it was in that hot streak at the end of the season. Boston came to town, and he made that just incredible glove save. Backes had the entire upper side, and Bennington made the save. And I want to say that's the point that David Backes' career was pretty well over.
Just correct. That was the last. Yeah, I agree. I'll always remember Backes for, wasn't it against Boston? It was back in 2009,
Martin Luther King Day.
The game wasn't on TV,
right?
And he scored with
president. It was either Martin Luther King or President's Day?
Yeah, I know I was off work.
Yeah,
but I couldn't watch
too.
the game. And I guess I could have went to a bar and maybe watched it somewhere. But it was against Boston, right?
Yeah.
And he scored with like less than a second to go or whatever it was to tie the game on a redirect tip.
Right.
And,
and that was what put us on the heater that got us just into the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, we've covered that before, right? We've wound up finishing 6th in true Vancouver, and that was the worst possible thing.
Right. And I remember talking with Chris Kerber, and he was like, we finished too strong.
Yeah.
We finished 6th. And it was such a jumble at the bottom, it was just a couple points difference. And and we wanted to finish 7th or 8th, and we finished 6th, and that was bad.
Right. And whoever finished first got knocked out in the first round. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Good times. The Blues beat the Flames in overtime and extended their point streak to 5 games. The Blues went at this point, the Blues were 4-0-1 under Montgomery. And on a tear, Armstrong's looking like a genius for, Armstrong was having a hot hand. I mean, he pulled off the offer sheet, amazing offer sheet thing that shocked the hockey world in the offseason. And then he makes the move here to fire Bannister, and hire Montgomery, which was an interesting thing because it's not too often where extreme moves that are wanted by a fan base are actually carried out by the administration, by the ownership group of a team. Usually it's like, oh God, I wish they would do this. They got to fire this guy and bring in this guy to be amazing. And it's like, that kind of thing doesn't happen that often where because Bannister was just hired, not going to fire him. They did. They fired him. They brought in, and we wanted it. We talked about it. Armstrong has a history of it, so that was just and so he's 4-1 at this point. Looking like a genius. This game, I think the one thing we can take away from this game was the world's longest, most unnecessary replay. Well, I wouldn't say it was unnecessary. I think this review is absolutely warranted. I don't know why it took so long though. You look at it. How long can you look at that same replay? It was like, was it 3 or 4 minutes? This replay.
It was over 4 minutes. I think this is something like 4:11.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's other broadcasters probably would have had the rule book out to say this is what they're talking about, but instead we just got Jamie Rivers and John Kelly. This is ridiculous. What could they possibly be looking at?
Yeah. So I mean, you guys know it was the overtime goal scored by Parayko that the save was made, and then Parayko gets the rebound. The puck was laying against the pad. Parayko jabs at the puck, gets the puck and the pad, gets the puck first, then the pad, and his stick shoves the goalie's pad kind of sideways a little bit. Puck goes in, and there was some question whether it was goalie interference. So Calgary wanted it. The Blues obviously, didn't. There was a shot of Thomas just standing in the hallway going back to the locker room, just like standing there forever, just like what's going on.
Yeah.
I get the review. I think it was a good call. I mean, he gets the puck first. He's allowed to go in there. Contact, the rule book states contact with the goalie is allowed once the puck's in there, and especially if you're in the act of shooting the puck or you hit the puck first, contact with the goalie is allowed. Incidental contact with the goalie is allowed. And I think you have to call that incidental because he wasn't purposely pushing the pad to shove him in the goal. It was part of the shot on net that he was kind of diving and shooting. So,
right. It was a play on the puck, not trying to pitchfork the goalie into the net,
right?
Which is what happens, right? And just
sure. Usually, some guy like the goalie will have the puck covered, and a guy come diving in, stick first, and shove the goalie into the net. Well, obviously, that's not going to be allowed, right? That's not what this was. Parayko was playing the puck. So, obviously, Flames fans might be upset about that, and I get it. You're homers. You want the call to go your way, but it was the right call.
Right. And I love Montgomery's quote, right? I didn't have to go back out. I knew it was in. I was having a piece of pizza and drinking water.
So Holloway had an assist in this game to extend his point streak to 5 games, which includes 4 goals, 4 assists. How great has he been? Holloway,
God,
man,
Holloway and Bolduc have
yes.
I mean, Holloway has been the best player on this team since Montgomery took over, but Zach Bolduc, nothing until Montgomery got here, and Montgomery's putting him in positions to succeed,
which is what we want. I mean, I don't want to act like we're geniuses or anything, but I mean, it seems obvious, right? That Bolduc's a shooter. He's a talented shooter. Get him out there, put him in a position where he can shoot and get pucks on net. Don't just put him out there in third line situations, or checking line deals, and just, get him on the power play, get him out there, set him up.
Yeah. And it's working right now, but eventually when, Oscar Sundqvist gets injured or, slows down even further, I'd like to see Tessier in between Bolduc and Holloway.
Me too. Me too.
A little bit more. Right now it's going great, but yeah, I just every time I'm like, could you imagine if they had a competent NHL speed center, what this group could do?
I think, and I think that would be a need for the Blues at the deadline if they're in a decent playoff position, and if they wanted to upgrade this team, which who knows, because you're at a sensitive stage in your retool, where you don't want to, you never want to, get a rental player. If you can make a hockey move and get a center that you're going to keep for a few years, then, but that way I imagine if everything kind of stays the same, I imagine that would be their want. If they wanted anything at the deadline, would be a what's the word I'm looking for? An effective center, a playmaking center, another one.
Right. Like a true second line center.
Yeah, a legit second line center. Right.
I think we have, 2 third line centers and, a fourth line center, but we play our fourth line center on the third line.
Yeah. And I love Sundqvist. I think he does a great job in certain situations in a certain role, but when you start moving him up a little bit, then it's like, I mean, when he's on the power play, it's like sometimes I don't want him on the power play unless you're planting him in front of the, right on top of the crease.
Right.
That's where he's got to go.
Right. And like I said, right now it's working, and keep it up, but you got to think eventually that the wheels are going to come off that cart.
We'll see. Binnington played in his 300th NHL game in this game, all with the Blues. He is the second goaltender in franchise history to reach that milestone behind Mike Liut, who played 347 games. So for those paying attention, Binnington has passed Liut in wins while playing 47, at this point, fewer games. So next up for the Blues was the Oilers, and the Oilers shut down the Blues 4-2. Ended the Blues' 5-game point streak and their first regulation loss for the Blues under Montgomery. Holloway scored against his former team. Which extended his point streak to 6 games. Obviously, and we talked about this. This was the game to circle on the calendar for the Blues. The first game for the Blues with Broberg and Holloway in Edmonton, with Broberg being healthy. There was, I guess, it was a question at some point if he was going to make this game back when he first got hurt. But our analysis of Broberg and Holloway in this game, I think we can agree that Holloway had a good game, but Broberg did not. In the return to Edmonton.
Yes, and just real quick, good night, Ken. Good luck at your appointment tomorrow. He's signing off for the night. So,
I'll put that up there. Good night, Mr. Morris.
Yes, thank you as always for tuning in. But it seemed like the moment got to Broberg more. Like, I think Holloway leaned into it, and I don't. Maybe that's being a little too harsh, but it definitely wasn't Broberg's best game that we've seen this year. And
no, one of his worst games, I thought. But so this
he kind kind of didn't miss a beat when he came back from injury. So he's kind of due for a bad game.
Yeah, and and I'm not on him. I'm just analyzing the game, right? I love Broberg. I think he's been good overall this season. Really good overall. But you're going to have off games, and this was one of them. And like you said, the moment could have gotten to him a little bit. Being booed every time. Holloway and Broberg, every time they touched the puck, boos came from the crowd, which I don't really understand. I mean, because it's not their fault they're gone. Although, who was it? Holloway said he wanted out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So maybe I could understand that a little bit. The fans booing that comment, or he wanted to be traded. But yeah, Broberg. I mean, it's your own GM's fault for not signing the players. If you wanted to keep them, get on your GM. Don't boo the players for signing an offer sheet. I mean, that's.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing we talked about, like the craziness of them. It was before Bowman got there, and it was the CEO or the president of hockey ops that signed everybody, including Victor Arvidsson, and just players that were kind of redundant on this roster, and didn't lock up the two young kids that had such high ceilings, and the Blues swooped. So, and if you're Broberg and Holloway and you're seeing, they're making a priority to sign these other guys, maybe I'm not wanted here. And I mean, look at Broberg. He didn't get a crack on that team really until the playoffs. And when he did, he was top 4 defenseman for them.
And he's been top 2 for us.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, I as excited as I was when the Blues got these two guys, they're even better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And especially Holloway. I based on how Broberg played in the playoffs, I was hoping for this kind of player. Wasn't expecting it, but I was hoping for this. Holloway, I was like, some people were like, well, we want Broberg. We don't care about Holloway. If they match Holloway, that's fine. We want Broberg. But now it's like, man, so glad we got both, because Holloway's been amazing. Now, to start the season, first handful of games, he hadn't scored, and I think he looked good in spurts, but he was, I don't know, looked like he was adjusting, whatever.
Right.
But the past so many games during the streak, oh my God, he's been amazing.
Yeah, bona fide top 6 player.
Yeah, easy, sure. Speed, hands. But we'll get to the game winner in overtime against Vancouver in the next game. It's like that's elite. That was an elite play.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, it's and that offer sheet surprise in the offseason really kind of accelerated, I think, or gave the Blues retool a boost. Maybe put it a little farther ahead of schedule than it would have been otherwise had they just, had they not done that. Obviously, I mean, you're getting a really good defenseman and a really good forward, just like for free almost. A couple of second round pick and whatever, second and third. What was it? 2 seconds, I guess it was. So yeah, that's which every day. Yeah, thanks. I'll take those 2 guys for 2 second round picks every day. Thank you.
Right. Who knows what else would have been out there. If we only wind up, bringing in the Joseph brothers and Foxa and Texier, yep. You're thinking that's not much of a retool.
No, that's like a stopgap until we get younger guys up here, right? Those are fillers.
We're waiting for Snuggerud.
Yeah,
right.
Waiting for Snuggerud, waiting for Dvorsky. So, when you mentioned Texier, I like Texier. I think I
do too.
I wish he would get more playing time, because I've really liked. I don't think he's put up the points that his play is maybe warranted, but I've just liked the way he's looked out there.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fucking look up his advanced stats. I don't care. I like the way he's looked.
I think he's got really good vision, and he can make some.
He's a much better passer than I.
Yeah, he can cut the offensive zone in pieces with some of his passing, and it's give him that opportunity. And I know they're dogging him on his defensive side of the game, right? And right now we feel better with Sonny out there because we know that he'll eventually get back to the D zone and break up a play.
Right.
I love Sonny. He is such a heart and soul guy, but man, it can be painful to watch him get rolled out there, getting third line minutes night after night.
Yeah, I know. And power play time and stuff like that. Again, that goes back to what I said before about second line center. Let's get one. Falk returned to lineup after missing 2 games with undisclosed injury. He was a -1 with 1 shot, 25 minutes of ice time. Bennington stopped 17-21. Skinner stopped 29-31. I thought Bennington played a really good game up until the Oilers' 4th goal when the Blues cut the lead to 3-2, and it's third period. And they were playing. They came back in this game. Obviously, scored 2 goals, but they were looking good. And you're like, man, they might get that 3rd goal. They might tie the game. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was going to be a matter of time. And then the soft goal from the boards, the near boards. Yeah. That was so. Your take on that play, which is I guess we should do Bill's softie of the week. Yeah. That. Was it just something where he was didn't expect it and it surprised him, or what?
I don't know. Like he was completely not set. His feet were all wrong, and it was like he was falling forward when Stetcher threw it at the net. And I couldn't get a good feel for the replays that I saw. It seemed like he was not expecting it, off balance, and it just got through him. And that's the season that he's had, right? If he makes that save and the Blues push, we get a point in this game. I mean, the standings. I mean, it's a little early to be looking at standings. Oh yeah,
because we're chasing Edmonton, right? So
right. Where now Edmonton's in the third Western.
They got
third Pacific.
They got a 4-point lead on us with a game in hand too. So
yeah. Calgary. Good thing we got that extra point against Calgary, but it was a just a backbreaking goal that shouldn't be given up. And
I want to say I mean this. I'll be honest with you. I just think it surprised him because of the quality of the shot that came from that spot on the ice. It was just a wrist shot. It was a very good shot from that. I mean, obviously 100 times out of 100 should be stopped, but if he didn't expect it, it was a good shot. It was inside the post. It was up on shoulder. I don't know what it was, shoulder height or something. But it was a good shot. I'm not gonna lie, and it got on him quick. It seemed like it had a lot of muster on it for just being a wrist shot from the boards, right? So, I don't know.
I mean, it's good on Stetcher for noticing the opportunity and taking it. But for me, it was a backbreaker. The kind of goal that every goalie hates to give up when your team's been, the team didn't look great for the first 2 periods and then showed up and played well in the third. And for you to be the guy that lets them down, that's always deflating.
Yeah.
That said, Stuart Skinner was by far the best goalie in this game.
Yeah,
he was good. At the beginning of the season, he did not look very good. Again, most of the Oilers didn't look good, but that's kind of what happens when you go to, Game 7, the last minute of Game 7 before you lose. So,
and that goal,
Skinner was just so impressive to me.
That goal by Stetcher came just over a minute after Neighbors had pulled the Blues within 1-2. So that was a double whammy. It's a soft goal, and it came right after the Blues scored.
Which is the Blues Achilles heel. That happens way too much with this team. They're not able to get focused back on the defensive side of the puck and give up a quick even up goal. Or trade goals.
Blues they outshot Edmonton in that third period when they came back, 14-6. Scored 2 goals in that period. Outshot Edmonton for the game 31-21. So face-off percentage was dominated by Edmonton 56-43. Edmonton was 1 for 1 on the power play. Blues were 1 for 2. And let's see what else we got here. Takeaways, 4 for Edmonton, only 1 takeaway in the entire game for the Blues. Who does these stats?
Kind of hard to do with Connor McDavid having.
I guess, yeah.
As much as he does.
And I'll tell you what, it's a shame that we don't get to see him play more. Like they're not in the same division. But it's not that I want to face McDavid. It's just fun watching him play. It's a joy watching. It's so fast and so good. It's like watching Hughes play. The blue line last night against Vancouver. Yeah, he's just. You're watching him, you're like, man, you could just, it's so easy to see. He makes it look easy, but it's just so easy to see when it's Hughes who has the puck because he's just so much better than any other defenseman out there. He's just, that you usually see.
Yeah, so fluid, so just, like you said, effortless.
So fluid, so confident and skilled.
Right. Did you see the goal he scored against Tampa after he had to put the face mask on?
No.
No look backhand skating away from the goal. Just fired a backhand, just like I said, no look, and went straight through. Just incredible.
Yeah.
He's a talent, and I am lucky to have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, so a bad first couple periods, and then they played a really good third period and just got the soft goal to kind of squelch their chance to come back. So those happened as long as they're few and far between, not a big deal.
Right.
So, the Blues played Vancouver. In that game before, Thomas did extend his point streak to 3 games, so 2 goals and 4 assists.
Right. So going into the Vancouver game, right? So it's now you have a hell of a lot more to play for to make this a successful road trip, right? Is this going to be a 500 road trip, or is it going to be a 750 road trip? Yeah,
and that's funny because they talked about before the game. It's something you always think about in the small sample sizes. It's like one game means the difference between 500 or 750. It's a big deal, because 3-1 sounds way better than 2-2.
Right.
2-2 is is the very least what you want to do on a road trip, right? You don't want to go under 500, obviously, and you're on the road. If you can go 500, okay, you treaded water. Now let's get back home and win some more games. But going 3-1 on a road trip against some good teams, right?
Right. Against teams that are all in playoff positions.
Right.
The Western Canada swing is not the favorite because there's a lot of travel. Even like the easiest stretch is Calgary to Edmonton, but apart from that, you're still traveling a long way to get from Winnipeg to Calgary and from Edmonton to Vancouver. And it's not the trip that most people look forward to.
Vancouver, the Blues last night. It was Hofer against Demko. It was Thatcher Demko's first game back this season, or first game this season at all. Vancouver at home, not good this season. They got four wins in 14 games at home. They're 10-2-1 on the road. That's crazy. Every once in a while you see a stat like that and you're like, how? Why? You think over the course of a season it'll even out a little bit more, but right now if you go on like Vancouver Reddit, they're all pissed off about having home games and they don't know what's going on. And of course, as a fan, you're trying to explain why, and nobody understands why. It's a weird, fluky thing almost, right? To have that kind of swing, be that good on the road and that good at home. And so you get announcers like, oh, well, they get away from home and they're more of a focus group and they do this. I'm like, okay, maybe, but or it could just be kind of fluky. But,
I think it's because they use Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds as their goal song.
Somebody brought that up. That is not a very rah-rah theme song, goal song.
But there's something about it. Like, it's like the the Maple Leafs, they use the cars, right? And something about the using an 80s tune. But I don't know. It'll always have the Josh Donaldson using "Careless Whisper" as his walk-up song. Like nothing will ever be better than that. And I feel like that's what they're going for.
I would, if I played Major League Baseball, I would still have the goofiest ass walk-up song. It'd be so funny. I'd get a little chuckle every time I go to the plate. So Hofer versus Demko. Tocchet in this game felt Demko played really well, which I thought he did too.
For first game of the season,
yeah.
Oh my god,
I was shocked at how well he was playing the first part of this game, being his first game back. I'm like shit. But so first period, about 8 minutes into the game, John Kelly said, "Good start for the Blues in this game," and I kid you not, 10 seconds later, Vancouver scores because the Blues did get off to a good start. And the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of this game, Blues were playing really well. I mean, okay, more of the same, good Blues play. Bad line change results in a 2-on-1. Former Blue Dakota Joshua scores. Who had a good game. I thought he was all over the place. A few good scoring chances and buzzing around the Blues net. You noticed him a lot against us. So.
Right. He's a guy, and Jeff called this out on the Let's Go Blues Radio Minute. He beat testicular cancer this summer, and that's
playing with house money, right?
Right. I hated that we just let him walk. Right. I thought he brought a lot to this team. At that point it was kind of a numbers game, and probably wasn't going to have a good spot. But he's kind of one of those guys is like, if we made a different decision and kept him here, it would feel really good. But awesome to see him playing so well. Drove the net super hard. And Connor Garland, that was, I hate that guy. He Blues killer going back to that 7-game series against the Coyotes during COVID.
God.
He tore us up that whole thing. But that was a hell of a pass to Joshua, and hate to give up a goal to him, but beautiful goal.
What started this, what created the 2-on-1 was Suter coming off the bench and then jumping off the ice and then back on again, and all of a sudden the play is coming at him. He's flat-footed. And so Suter looked like ass on this play. I get it that he was flat-footed, but if you're flat-footed, get a piece of the guy as he goes by you.
Just take a penalty.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been a penalty because the guy had the puck, and it was one of those plays where the players rushing, right, and they chip it by you and they go to run it, and you're allowed to check a guy or interfere a little bit as he goes by you after the puck is chipped by you. But he got zero piece of him. He chipped the puck by him and just zipped right by him, and Suter's just standing there, and that all of a sudden 2-on-1. So that was kind of bad.
I was totally expecting the result of that was he was going to clothesline him or something and get a penalty. He whiffed.
Yeah, he didn't even. Yeah, I don't think he touched him at all. It was kind of weird. A minute 13 though, after Joshua scored, Bolduc tied the game on a one-timer from the deep slot. Brilliant pass by Holloway with a Sundqvist screen in front, which allowed that goal to go in. I mean, we just talked about last game about how Edmonton scored a minute plus after the Blues had cut the lead to 1, cut the deficit to 1, and now the Blues tie it back up a minute 13 later. So it's like, quick response times in the NHL so huge. You take the crowd out of the game, you zap any of the momentum the other team may have had from their goal. So huge. Demko plays the puck behind his net, up the boards. Holloway intercepts it. And great patience by Holloway. He kind of stick handles, waits, and then Bolduc slides up high, and Holloway finds him. One-timer, Sundqvist in front. Demko never saw it, and it goes in glove side post. So great execution, taking advantage of the turnover by Demko, and then finding Bolduc. Again, Holloway, right? So
yeah, and you know, it was kind of shades of the last time we played the Sharks and Askarov. 11 seconds in the giveaway that to Fox, who found Walker in front, right? But on this play, Demko got back to the front of the net, and I thought what Holloway did, like Holloway looked at him and got him to freeze on the post, and the seas parted, and he found Bolduc, who dude snipes, right? That loves seeing him get that shot off, going down to one knee. Such a thing of beauty. And
that was high slot too. That was top of the circle slot. That was from out there. And and again, I mean, Sundqvist makes this goal go in because that's a stoppable puck for any goalie if they see it. But he didn't see it. So
yeah. I mean, it's Kairu's got that kind of shot, but he doesn't unleash it like that.
Not enough.
Right? I'm trying to think, like, who would have been the last Blue that was really prolific at letting the puck go from the high slot, Dimitra or Scott Young. I would have to go with one of those two guys.
That far back, huh? We haven't had somebody since then doing
that. Maybe Brad Boyce.
Oh, that's still far back. That's mid. That's 05, 06.
Yeah,
maybe
Lee Stempniak for one season.
Nobody from the Cup run.
No, it's Tarasenko, right? Tarasenko
when he's not dusting the puck off. Yeah,
right.
He didn't. But he didn't one time the puck though very much. So
no.
Yeah.
It was always it was like headline news when Tarasenko would take a one-timer.
Right. And it was that time that he came back from his shoulder injury and took that big one-timer and scored. I'm like, holy shit, where's that been? So after and with Sundqvist in front, he gets no credit for this, right? I mean, aside from verbal, there's no stat for what he did.
Right.
He gets a plus, but nobody really cares about plus minus anymore. So what does he get? He didn't get an assist, didn't touch the puck, but he makes this goal go in. There needs to be a stat for like effective screens or something. If you want to impress me with some advanced stats instead of this expected bullshit, show me like there could be a word for it, effectiveness that leads to a goal, or
call it the Holmstrom.
The Holmstrom, right? Just standing in front. And or even a screen, screens that result in goals. It's kind of subjective, though. I guess you can't tell exactly how much the goalie was screened. I mean, how do you judge that? But still, I mean, it's a. But then again, whoever's inputting the stats anyway, that's all subjective.
Right.
You can call it advanced stats and smarter stats, but it's still a guy behind the keyboard saying, yes, that should have been stopped. That's from this point on the ice. Here we go. Anyway, Shen hits the goalpost, breaking in on the left wing, cutting across the goal mouth, smoked Demko. Great move, which is a move you don't see work much. I mean, it's a typically the goalie is going to poke check you, or it's going to slide off your stick, or whatever. But Shen executed perfectly. I mean, and it was, a foot off the ice. He did everything right, but just clangs it right off the post. Unfortunate.
Yeah. It's Shen the last 3-4 weeks has when he gets the puck coming down that left wing, like, he is a man on a mission, and he's
compared to last season.
Yeah.
I mean, Shen had a bad last year. He finished strong, I think, last season, but it wasn't very good. This season, especially lately, he's been good. Yeah. He's been effective, right? And he's putting the puck in the net a little bit more, and he's making plays. He last year, you can call it sloppy, or just wasn't. It was mishandling a lot of stuff. It wasn't executing.
The weight of the captaincy was getting to him. Something.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, this year I've been pleasantly surprised with Shen's, because people say, he's getting older, he's not going to get better. He's better this year than last so far. He's playing better.
Yeah, definitely improved. And what I've liked about his play is that he's not doing the same thing every time. He's going to different corners. And on this play, he cut across the goal mouth and really should have had a goal, right? And like an NHL 94 goal. But yeah, just playing the post.
Okay, Winning Unlimited, which is our friend Adam Gold. Have you read the papers I DM'd you a while ago? And one paper was on goal evaluation, where a goal is a game first 10 minutes is not as valuable as a goal in a 0-0 game. In the last 10, Holmstrom had incredible goal value late in tied games. I have not yet, and I feel ashamed for that. I do have them. I need to look at that. So that's I don't think that's exactly what I was referring to, but that's an interesting look at goals too, like goal evaluation. I like that. Goals in a 0-0 game in the first 10 minutes are not as valuable as a goal in a 0-0 game in the last 10. Yeah. And Holmstrom had incredible goal value late in tied games.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's easy to put the ugly guy in front of the net.
It's the big ugly Swede, right?
Big ugly Swede.
That's what the Blues do.
Not the most talented guy with the puck. He's just, he's getting the face. It's fine. He's ugly anyway.
Sundqvist is going to get dental work when his career's over. We all know that. Right?
Oh, so this paper's kind of old. It says Milan Hajduk was the most clutch scorer in the league when he wrote the paper. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Milan Hajduk, man.
That's right. That's a name that I don't think Jeff or I have used in Puck Doku since we've been playing daily. So that's a blast from the past.
He also says even though Henrik Sedin had more goals in the year, Hajduk's total value was more than Henrik Sedin's. That's and I guess that kind of transitions into what did Henrik Sedin ever win as a team, right? So maybe the fact that he's not scoring as many valuable goals means his teams aren't winning the big games. Who knows? Second period in this game. Hold on, I skipped way ahead. What did I do? Let's see. So the tripping penalty on Sundqvist. That's what I wanted to cover. So Thomas scores on a shorthanded. So I was annoyed at this penalty. It was a penalty. It was just stick gets caught up in his skates. It's unfortunate. But Thomas scores shorthanded, outskates Hughes to the net, shoots a laser over Demko's blocker far side. Blues' first shorthanded goal of the season. I thought as good a game as I thought Garland played. I think it was a horrible play. Lets a bouncing puck eat him up and just bounce by him. And then Thomas anticipates this whole thing.
Right. Gets behind him.
Right. Preko's got the puck on his stick. I think Thomas is bolting. He's hoping for something to get by the defenseman. And sure enough, right by him. And Thomas played it perfect. And he's got a breakaway. And Thomas, man, I mean, a guy who can pick corners. And he got a laser shot. Maybe one of the more underrated wrist shots in the NHL.
Yeah.
He's got a good one.
Yeah, I went back and watched the Vancouver or the extended highlights. They had the Vancouver call, and Ray Ferraro was doing it, and his comment was like, "Guys, kind of the most undersold thing. He's a really good hockey player," something like that. Like that was just a probably a better snipe than you had the last 5 seasons of your career. But
in-depth analysis from a friend of the show, Ray Ferraro.
Yeah, no, I love Ray doing the Vancouver games. So
I like Ray Ferraro in general, but I always think about the
Patrick Stefan, right?
Patrick Stefan play where he's got to be embarrassed about it's ridiculous. I'm like, he's a little overboard there.
Yeah.
Calm down, Ray. But so second period starts. Hofer a couple mishandles early in the second period.
Yeah,
and this is like the second game in a row he's had some mishandles. And I'm like, because one of them, there was kind of a touchy thing where he passed the puck up the far corner and it was intercepted, and they threw it in front, and he got back and made the save. But it's like, man, I don't know if this is. Hopefully, it's not a trend. But he's a very good puck handler. And maybe it's just one of those things, it was like just a couple of games in a row we had a few hiccups. but that needs to be cleaned up because that's not something you want to keep doing over. You're going to get burned one of these games doing that stuff.
Yeah, he's still, sophomore season. Sophomore season's not going as swimmingly as the first season. If those pucks are going in, I'm a lot more worried. But he's been able to recover.
Bad tripping call on Besser. Parayko losing an edge going into the boards. Besser was upset. And the fans saw the replay, and you could tell when the fans saw the replay on the Jumbotron, because then all of a sudden this collective groan and outrage from the fans, which, I get. I mean, that's a bad call. I watched it. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a bad call.
Yeah.
We'll take it. And then, of course, that the Blues score on the power play because, of course. And this goal was fantastic. Great, quick, accurate puck movement. High to low, back to high, near side to Kyrou, cross ice to Thomas, back cross ice to Kyrou, who one times the puck by Demko. Beautiful. Near post as you get the goalie moving, quick puck movement. You get the goalie moving. We talked about it a lot, and opens holes, and they can't get set, and this beats him near post. If he stops it and dusts it off, that's an easy save for him. So, Tocchet in the crowd super pissed, and I thought, when this happened, I was like, that's such a bad call, and it was played on the Jumbotron. They're getting a makeup call.
Oh yeah,
they're getting the Revlon call, right?
Right. We all knew what was coming.
I knew it, and it wasn't long after the holding call on Shen, and they got Shen's reaction. He just kind of laughed and said, "Come on."
He knew it, and
it was not a hold at all.
Yeah, just like the call on Besser wasn't a trip,
right? No, I get it.
Right,
I get it.
100%.
I get it. But if you believe
up for the crowd,
but if you believe Carey Fraser,
that doesn't happen.
Revlon calls do not happen.
Yeah.
So this was a very entertaining penalty kill, even though Vancouver scored.
Oh my God.
The shooting gallery, right? And it was a no stick for Hofer for part of it. Buchnevich broke his stick. And players are diving, goalies flopping, and the shots are passes across back door one time off of skate wide. Just everybody's going every direction, and it was fun. It's fun hockey. But then the pass goes off Parayko's stick in front and in as he's trying to block it, and it just and the reaction from Parayko was something you don't see too often. It was like he was exasperated, pissed off, because it was you could tell the Blues really wanted to kill that off with all the effort they were putting forth, and just throwing the kitchen sink at Vancouver, trying to keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah, and it's not often you see a defenseman before the puck's even crossed the line, grabbing his head in his hands, right?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
Yeah,
or as Brick would say, "Gosh darn it!"
Oh, poop!
Oh, fudge!
No, there were a couple of crazy sequences like this in the game. In the, I think it was third period, might have been the first period. There was a broken stick that one of the defensemen stepped on, and it was Carson Soucy. Somebody broke a stick as the Blues were coming in, and Carson Soucy stepped on it, and that gave Sundqvist an open lane to the net, 2-0, and we couldn't convert.
No,
great save by Demko.
Yeah,
but there was just some bizarro shit like that, broken sticks and body parts laying in different parts of the ice.
Yeah, so that Canucks goal cut the lead to 3-2 Blues. Exciting last 5 minutes of that second period. Things kind of got stepped up a little bit, so a lot going on. Fun to watch, fun hockey, and fun game overall. This was a good well played game. Some good goaltending, nice goals, exciting plays. So third period, a couple of great chances by the Blues early in the third, a 2-on-1 break and a 2-on-0 break on the same shift. Couldn't convert. Blues were all over Vancouver start to third. That didn't last too long. Penalty on St. Louis, tripping on Sundqvist. I thought this was a bad call. Garland falls down.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a penalty. Similar to the bad call that sent the Blues on the power play in the second. Right.
Right.
But the Blues don't get the makeup call from this one.
Right.
Which
it was
sucks.
after this point the refs put the whistles in their pockets.
Right.
And there was one sequence with Tyler Myers in the third when he was through a couple of hands and faces and some cross checks. So
are we gonna let this hoser on the show?
No. There are too many allegations.
Yeah, we got a reputation to uphold here, and I can't even tell. What is he? Is he like? Oh, he's driving. Let's bring him on here. I'll change the. Well, I pull you in here. What the fuck? There. Okay, there we go. Finally took. Can you hear us? Hey, Jeff, you driving back from the game?
I am.
How'd you do? How'd you fare? How did was the force forceful tonight?
The force was not a force to be reckoned with. No.
Okay. So the force was not with you.
We could have used a Bill Day in that for sure.
Oh, is your goalie listening that played tonight?
No,
you never throw the goalie under the bus, Bill. Never.
No. He did. He will admit. So he hasn't played in a couple weeks, and he was off his angles real bad. We were down 2-0 after about 45 seconds.
Oh.
So
Did you get a short game?
It was pretty bad. We ended up losing 7-2.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm looking at bench app right now. Yikes.
Not good.
Well,
how's the show going?
We
were
just about to wrap up when you showed up.
One more thing.
Good.
Jeff Ponder's here. No, we're in the Vancouver game. So I don't know if you've been listening, but we just talked about the Vancouver's going on the power play in the third after the penalty on Sundqvist. But yeah, no, it's
Sundqvist was incensed, was he not?
Well, this is third period, but yeah, there was he was incensed.
Right when he got sent to the blocks with Fleetwood, right?
Sherwood,
Fleetwood.
All right. Well, then I will.
The Mac.
The Mac.
Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, that was bad, which we haven't gotten out yet, though.
Right.
But,
I mean,
we haven't gotten to that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. So the Blues did not get the makeup call for this bad call on Sundqvist. So, but the Blues did kill it off. Hofer makes a massive save on a 2-0 break coming off the far boards. Yeah. I had to go back and rewind and say, how did that even happen? Joseph makes a poor play at center on the far boards, misses the puck. Puck's poked in the blue zone. Then Kessel goes for the hit on the far boards, misses his angle, and doesn't prevent the player from getting deeper into the zone. And then Kessel's out of the play because he falls down. And so I'm like, that's how it happens. And then they horrible defense on this play. Hofer bailed him out. Thank God.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, as much as I kind of liked Kessel last season, I don't like him. I have not liked him at all recently. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not comfortable with his play. He is disappointing me. He's not progressing like I would like him to.
Right. It for him. It's like the sophomore slump.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
And he's. I think Perunovich, I was shocked that he was the guy that got pulled out of the lineup. He's been really, really good. And, one of the top fancy stats guys on the team when he's been in there and effective. But, they're I think it's pretty clear that they're platooning that seventh defenseman in and out. And,
I get it. But yeah, I think
I agree. Kessel's been kind of like the most disappointing out of everybody.
So based on what you would hope he would build on last year, and I don't think he has at all. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. But so my notes are kind of funny at this point in the game because I got Blues are hanging on, Canucks pushing. Too many Blues turnovers, icing after icing. 7 minutes left. Been this way for about 8 minutes or so. Blues are sloppy. They seem rattled. Fox skates off, hurt after a board battle. I thought he was holding his arm or his shoulder at first. You saw the replay. He gets a skate basically on the groin. Skate Blade. So I didn't even hear about an update. Was there an update with him today at all?
They said he's okay. I can't imagine that he'll play tomorrow night, but
I did see that what's his name? Montgomery did say that he did need some stitches, so it doesn't sound like he was cut pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's scary though, right? Because that's right down by the ephemeral artery. So scary.
So many chances for the Blues to clear the zone in stretches in this third period, and too many times they couldn't do it. Scary. Demko pulled with 2:23 left, and you could, some of these games you just feel that tying goal coming, and you could feel it with Vancouver. You're like, they need to turn this game around because they're getting hit with waves. They're playing sloppy. DeBrusk does.
I'll say though, I did think I liked the way the Blues were still taking chances. Vancouver's defense was not good in this game. I thought overall Demko was great, but I really thought, I was like, man, yes, Quinn Hughes, and it did not feel like Quinn Hughes just never left the ice in the third period.
He was all over the ice.
I mean, that dude he was out there all the time, and it was like, man, the Blues are still getting chances to skate in, and they're still getting odd man breaks. I thought, man, it's going to be one of those games where Vancouver's going to press, and then the Blues are just going to get one chance to put it in. But Demko was back there to save their asses.
Well, when the Blues actually were out of their own zone, they tried. They didn't just send one guy. No, they didn't hold back when they had the chance, which is good. I like that. But DeBrusk does score to tie the game. Just too many missed chances to get us out of the clear, I think, before this goal. I thought the Blues actually had this play covered very well, though. I went back and looked at it in the replay and kind of slowed it down, except for Saad. If you watch Saad on this, he's on the far side. Vancouver had 1 point man, but the Blues had two guys up high, and Saad was one of them defending, leaving the Blues outnumbered down low 5-3. Saad is in no man's land on the far side as the puck is worked near side boards. When the puck comes near side, Saad seems to be caught puck watching, kind of glides too far to the middle instead of sliding more down low to cover Pettersson, who slid down low under the faceoff dot. Saad was too high, wasn't in the passing lane for the cross-ice pass to Pettersson, and then he pursued him but is out of position and to defend him properly, and then which caused Broberg to slide down low to block a pass since he wasn't covered, and then that left DeBrusk open in the low slot. So kind of a domino effect based on what I thought, how Saad kind of was out of position there on that play, like he was kind of puck watching, wasn't paying attention to Pettersson behind him. And a great pass from Pettersson to DeBrusk, fantastic. And then DeBrusk buries it up high. Great execution by Vancouver on a play that I thought Saad was out of position and kind of allowed that play to happen. Unfortunate. And then after that, the Sherwood cheap shot we talked about on Sandquist, but
yeah. That's a great breakdown of that. I thought that the move by DeBrusk to get himself angled to be able just to roof from that in tight, that's a play that they've definitely practiced. And Pettersson to pull off that pass, that it was a thing of beauty. I'll say, Saad I thought was probably the least effective Blue on the ice all night. That line as a unit was disappointing.
Let's see what the stat card says, huh?
Yeah, Schenn and Neighbors had their opportunities. I think Schenn probably had the only opportunity for that line as a group. Neighbors contributed on the power play. But yeah, I thought Saad was slow, and his shots were when he had the chance to shoot the puck, they were weak.
For this game, according to the hockey stat cards, Saad was the third least effective or worst Blues player. Neighbors and Schenn got lower ratings actually after we just praised Schenn the game before. So. But yeah, and I think if you go back and watch it on the Blues website, you can see the play. If you watch Saad, you can see what I'm talking about. Him not being in that passing lane and kind of covering Pedersen caused this whole thing to go to shit. So he's kind of covering nobody over there. Just so it was interesting to me to kind of slow it down and look at it that way. And then Sherwood with the cheap shot on Sundqvist on the delayed offside, which I thought was a horrible call to send them both off. Sundqvist did absolutely nothing on this play. He gets okay. What? Okay, you think he took a shot at it?
No, he had locked him on the way down. His glove came off, and he reached. He reached and grabbed his neck.
You're right.
But I think, and even Vancouver's announcers seem to think it would be a 4-minute penalty on Sherwood and 2 to Sonny.
I don't even think Sundqvist did enough to get a roughing, and I don't think it was. I mean, okay, whatever. They're splitting hairs, but either way, the Blues that should not have been matching.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And that was, I think, the refs saying we've had a shit game tonight. We're not going to give a team an advantage because, it was exactly a minute to go in the game. So if they give Vancouver the extra minor going to overtime, they might not make it out of the city alive.
I thought the matching minors call was gutless by the officials.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree.
It was such a cop out thing. Well, we can't make that kind of a call. We can't give a team a power play that late in the game, even though it was a fucking cheap shot. Right.
No, that totally deserved an extra penalty.
For sure.
And I would have, I would love to have seen something from player safety today, just to say even, he got a fine because there's no reason for him. Sundqvist is not expecting him to make that hit.
He's got to clear the zone. I mean, that's his. I mean, if he's going to play the puck, it's you see that sometimes. Guys don't know they're offside or whatever. Or they don't clear the zone, they're able to play dead. But he didn't just not clear the zone and go to play the puck. He took a run at Sundqvist, who was not expecting that. He's expecting to clear the zone. It's almost like hitting a defenseless player.
Right.
So I spoke with an official that handles like a lot of the high-end high school hockey and even college hockey out in this area, and I asked him about that play, and he flat out said that, yes, it was technically called correctly because they both got, Sundqvist deserved a rough and he deserved something too. But the way that I saw it, and I asked him, I go, so how would you have called it? Would you have called it the same way? And he said, absolutely not. I would have called rough on both of them, but I would have given the extra unsportsmanlike to Sherwood because in that play, like you just said, Sundqvist is not expecting anything. He thinks he's got the free out. So if anything, really, it's unsportsmanlike because there's no reason to make a hit there. You're not gaining an advantage at all by hitting Sundqvist on that play.
You're clearing the zone. You're supposed to clear the zone, and he didn't. He made a beeline to take a cheap shot at Sundqvist. So, I mean, right. He typically when you check a player, you're trying to create separation from the puck, to create a turnover, something like that. He can't gain possession of the puck. He has to clear the zone first. So that's a good. That would be a good 2 for rough, and then the sportsmanlike. I can live with that. That would be the way. That makes sense to me.
Is it just me, or are you waiting for like red lights to start flashing behind Ponder, and we're gonna get cops?
I am in my garage. I will be joining the fellas downstairs in a second.
Okay, it would be more allegations against you.
Right, if you could beat us to wrapping up the show. Quick.
Right. Oh, we gotta hurry it now. It'd be funny if we're off the air.
Yeah.
Oh, and he comes in during the closing. So overtime happens. Justice prevails, I guess you could say, as the Blues dominated puck possession in overtime, and Holloway scores, breaking up right wing on a nice pass from Thomas, tucks it upstairs near post from in close. Beautiful shot. Thank you again, Edmonton. Simple play, really, right? I mean, Thomas passes up to Holloway, nice crisp pass in stride. Holloway uses his speed to cut in. I thought Vancouver played this terribly. Defensively.
Yeah. Right.
Gave him a lane to the net. Susie stays in the slot in the middle, like he's covering, like he's trying to stay in the passing lane.
Right.
But he's got a teammate behind him draped all over Falk. That pass is you. So I don't know what Susie's doing. Situational awareness there is bad for Susie.
Right.
Because he needs to take the puck carrier like hard, because the guy behind him that he's trying to block the pass to is covered well by his partner.
Right. But I think Susie is thinking DeBrus got to take an extra stride here. And DeBrus, it was like, I think he learned this from Brad Marchand in 2019, since, he was part of that team too. But he coasted. Right. He was not busting his ass to get back. And the fact that Holloway was able to come back to the forehand, right, tells you that the back check wasn't there. Right. That is usually the last thing an NHL player should be able to do, is pull that back for a quick chip one timer. Drink of the Jeff's beer of the show is eggnog.
Ponder's back in his studio, and he's got some spiked eggnog. Is that what it is?
Yes, Evan Williams eggnog.
Right.
Very good.
So we're just talking about the overtime goal, about how Vancouver. I mean, great play execution by the Blues. Vancouver also played this terribly defensively. So giving Holloway
I was not impressed with their defensive game.
No, their defensive game in the offensive zone was good.
Yes,
but
and
I
just thought, I'm like, man, your goalie is coming back from being injured since game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2024. You think the coaches are stressing, hey, don't overwork this guy in his first game back. They overworked him. I mean, he only faced 24 shots, or whatever it was, but it was still just like
25.
Right.
25, but it's
25
just like
and a lot of quality shots too.
Yes, great opportunities for the Blues in this game.
Yep. So I think Vancouver had the puck once in overtime for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and they turned it over to the Blues. So they didn't have the puck at all.
Right.
Blues had the puck for maybe a minute 35 out of minute 40 in his overtime.
Who was that turned it over in the offensive zone?
Was it
right off the face-off? Handed it to a Canuck, and then the Canucks turned it right back over to, I think, Parayko.
Was it? I don't know.
I want to say it was Neighbors, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, come on!"
Fun game. I enjoyed this game, not just because the Blues won, but this was a fun game. This was a entertaining game. Both teams, close game. Got some good goaltending. They deserved to win a meter, had it about 50-50. Even though the Blues had 7 of the top 8 players in the game, according to the hockeystatcards.com. Thomas, Bolduc, Holloway were the top 3 performers in the game, according to that site, and Schenn, Neighbors, and Saad were subpar in this one. Pettersson, Besser, and DeBrusque were the top 3 performers for Vancouver, while Susie, Suter, Bluger, and Sherwood were the worst performers for Vancouver. So I think, I threw Saad in there as he was the 3rd worst subpar, and just on that coverage of the tying goal alone,
right?
I'll give him that. So
yeah, Saad. I'm not saying that all the Saad haters over the past couple of years are justified. They are not, but I will say he's starting to show his age.
Yeah,
I think this year especially, and even the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been very Now, he does have a new baby at home. That might be part of it. But, yeah. Well, and yes, I mean, I hate to say it, Kurt, but yes, I mean, you're paid millions of dollars. Like, you got some time off at the start of the season when your wife gave birth.
A lot of time off.
It is. It
was more than I expected, actually.
It is time to,
but nothing like you
not
get
use that as an excuse anymore.
That's true.
But, yeah, I've not been impressed with his game the last, I'd say, couple weeks, really.
He's got 4 goals, 6 assists in 26 games this season, 10 points.
There was a game, it was an afternoon game. I don't remember who it was they were playing, maybe Boston, where he played unbelievable. And it was like they moved him up to the top line. He was excellent. But since then, he's been hardly noticeable.
Since Montgomery's taken over, he's been outshone by by everybody. All the younger guys, especially Holloway, Bolduc, Neighbors.
He has in his last 12 games, he has no goals, 2 assists. So
that's bad number. He has as many goals as you do, Kurt.
He only has 2 games this season where he scored goals, and he scored 2 goals in each of those games.
That's very Brandon Sod of him.
Yes.
And one was against Winnipeg, and one was against Buffalo. So
okay, I think Buffalo was the game I was thinking of.
Both ends of the spectrum there with teams, quality teams.
Yeah, that was the afternoon game. Yeah, so I don't know. Chances of him coming out tomorrow night probably reduced by Foxa probably needing a game off. But I wouldn't mind seeing Texier going in for Sod.
Yeah, we talked about Texier. I'd like to see him get some more playing time.
I want to see a little bit more from him, especially under Montgomery. Under Montgomery, he's only had 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him get a little bit more.
So the Blues, the hockey stat cards for this game, the Blues looked really, really good. Actually, Thomas was, everybody was shoot. I mean, Thomas, Bolduc, Holloway, Parayko, Kyrou, Broberg, Buchnevich, even Kessel, Joseph, all really good scores on the hockey stat cards. Even Sundqvist, had a good game. And then you get down to Foxer, Studer, Falk, Toropchenko, Sod, Neighbors, Shen, who had average to subpar performances. So, let's see. Next up for the Blues, we've got Thursday versus against San Jose, 7:00 in St. Louis, and then Saturday, December 14th at Dallas at 7 p.m. Sunday against the Rangers, then Tuesday at home against New Jersey. 19th Thursday at Tampa Bay, and then Friday the 20th at Florida. So after the San Jose game, you got Dallas, you got the Rangers, you got New Jersey, you got Tampa, you got Florida. This is going to be a 5-game stretch after San Jose where you really want to get 2 points against San Jose, because who knows how this stretch is going to go. That's tough teams.
Right.
Yeah. New Jersey, I think I looked and I saw that might be the tail end of one of their back-to-backs. So we'll probably get Jake Allen, and he's played the Blues pretty well. So we'll see if we get Allen, and that is here. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's that. So we just did the 4-game Western Canada road trip. Come home for 1 game, go to Dallas for a game, but then we're back for 3 in a row. So
two, and then 2. And the Rangers, and then Jersey.
Oh, right. That, and then we have to go to Florida. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean,
we really are getting all the Eastern Conference teams out right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I mean, as in the Blues they're hitting this, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, Florida trip. They're or not trip, the games. They're hitting this probably at a good time because they're playing some pretty good hockey generally. Mm-hmm. It just you can't really afford to have like the first 2 periods they did against Edmonton, right?
Right. The Rangers, though, God, the Rangers are just a train wreck right now. I'll be surprised if Laviolette survives. They got to win tonight, but if they don't string a bunch together, like they just traded their captain, and
I guess I didn't even notice they're 2-8 in their last 10. Yeah,
they've been bad.
Didn't even notice that. So I was expecting a. Well,
still, you expect the Rangers to bring an A game,
right? And they have the best left winger in the game and the best goalie in the game, right?
Yep,
Panarin and Shesterkin.
Yep.
So maybe that'll be a easier game than some of the others. But the Dallas game's big. I mean, not that we're like chasing Dallas like they're close to us or anything, but it's a division game, so you want to Dallas too.
We are only they have 2 games in hands on us, but we're only 4 points behind.
Yeah, they're 6-4. I mean, in the last 10, 11-2 at home though.
Yeah.
So
tough building to win in.
That's where we're going to be. Again, that's why you want to beat San Jose on Thursday. Get that game, get those 2 points in the bank, and then take it one game at a time against these teams here.
What have we always said in the past? It's always about, your every 5, 6, 7 games. If you're above 500 every 5 games or so, that's a good sign, especially with this team now. So, yeah, you get that win against San Jose tomorrow night. You're looking at, 4 wins in the last 5 games, heading into a pretty tough stretch.
With only one regulation loss under Montgomery, too. So,
yep.
That's and just looking at the standings here, it just makes me smile to see Nashville in last place after their moves in the offseason.
And I love seeing all the people talk about how they're going to basically blow it up. And I was like, yeah, really can't. Like, you just signed 2 huge contracts, traded your goalie of the future. Like, blowing it up right now, that's a bad look.
So they're 1-6-3 in the last 10 and lost 4 in a row. Oh,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And I mean, they're tied in points with Chicago. So the two.
That's not where you want to be.
2 of our biggest division rivals, right? They're just right.
Yeah, but Chicago, you expected. Nashville. Right. I'll admit, I did not think. I thought Nashville would be battling for a playoff spot. I think they drop out. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. No. So that's been a nice surprise.
Yeah, I agree. So I did not think Minnesota was going to be where they are. Quite that. I mean,
I think they're going to fall back down to earth a little bit. I think obviously all teams do, but I really
look at Winnipeg.
Don't.
Yeah, Winnipeg has 4-6 last 10 games. They're all of a sudden, it happens. You see that teams go on these long, amazing runs. Oh, we won 12 in a row, and then they lose 4 in a row right after they it's just they lose 4 in a row and 6 out of 10. It's just like, wow, what happened? It's crazy how that works, and you see it all the time.
I don't know if you guys have talked about this at all yet, but I do believe our plan is next week. We are going to have a show on our normal night, Wednesday, like tonight. But I think we're all going to get together for it. Maybe Kurtz.
We're gonna try. Yeah, I mean, if that works for you guys, it's available. If not, we can do whatever. But we'll try and do that.
So those are always fun shows.
Yeah, we tried to do this now for what last
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I think we did it. 2021 was the last time we did it because we were like, do we need to wear masks?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have your gift sitting in the corner on my arena chair.
I'm looking at both your gifts right now.
Mine are right back down here.
So I didn't have to buy anything for you this year because I still have it from last year.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, if we don't get together, this is going to the family white elephant gift. And they're like, what the fuck is this?
I thought it was funny that...
That's a good point. It's got
my wife...
One more week.
My wife asked me, she said, it was like before Thanksgiving. She's like, have you bought for anyone yet? And I go, Kurt and Bill. And she goes, that's weird. You already bought for your show co-hosts? And I was like, yeah, but it's from last year. I literally bought it last December and we never met up.
Yep. Me too. And I have not touched it. It's been there I have not touched it in probably 6 months. It's just set in the same spot.
I haven't touched it since I put it there over a year ago.
You may have some dust on it a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
So
it's in a bag. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I might just leave it there. I might not touch it until you get here. There it is. Go get it.
I will say. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say I am gonna bring that center ice stout that I found on the shelf at Randall's. So
nice.
We will share that.
Awesome.
Do you guys like eggnog? I could bring some eggnog.
I enjoy eggnog, especially the spiked eggnog.
So. Oh yeah, good stuff. I make a.
Is there any other kind
of
eggnog?
Spiked? Sure, you can buy it in a half-gallon carton at Schnucks.
Right, but why? But do you serve it without booze?
No. I have had it without booze before.
It's still good, but yeah, it's definitely much better with
it's
rum in it.
Yeah, sure.
I will tell you, and this is a trade secret, folks. I make it every Christmas Eve, and I'm always told it is the best eggnog anyone's ever tried. I make it like a week before, and I use brandy instead of rum, and it is so much better.
Do you know that probably you've had Brandy Alexander's before?
Yes.
Fantastic. Amazing. I love the ice cream drinks. It's so probably in that ballpark.
Yep.
Then
very good. Very good. Also, we should probably discuss this off air, but with the Christmas holiday coming up and then the Blues playing on December 31st, that's a weird week for when we want to have a show. So we'll have to stay tuned to us on social media because that's going to be a strange week.
We have
a Christmas hiatus.
Yes.
Josh DiSavino in the chat says, "Hi guys, I'm a Leafs fan. I'm just wondering, despite your cup win, if your Blues struggled with scoring throughout Berube's tenure. Great defensive organization, but offensively, we seem muzzled at times."
Yes.
Yes and no. There was a year where this team was amazing.
But
offensively.
they had the personnel the Blues had top to bottom. The top 9 were guys that could play on any other team's top 3.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the cup run in the year after, right? That we got derailed like COVID. So, but yeah,
the scoring was the scoring was primarily the reason why Berube got fired.
Yeah.
I mean, just the power play was terrible, and they couldn't score.
Well, and when he first came in, the Blues were. I mean, that was when Jordan Binnington was like the Jordan Binnington because it was like the Blues couldn't score goals.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They had to win games 1-0, 2-1. It wasn't until I'd say March when they finally started clicking offensively.
Yeah. Yep. Because I mean, it was the game in Tampa late February, 1-0 overtime win. Right.
Yeah.
And it was after that they started rolling. But yeah, no, I when I saw this coming into the chat, I was thinking about that. And Craig Berube takes possession, like the idea of possession, literally. Like he does not want the puck going at the net. He wants somebody to hold on for the perfect play. And
that was the thing here for a while. It was
so
quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, which for one season it resulted in a high amount of goals here. We were a really very good offensive team, like top 3 in the NHL or something like that in goals scored. But that next season it fell off completely. So I mean, that couldn't sustain that. So I guess
much the Dom's delight, right?
Right. I guess, Josh, when you say great defensive organization, but offensively we seem muzzled, is he talking about Toronto under Berube?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally see that. He's a good structure guy for defense. The problem the Blues had with defense wasn't him; it was Mike Van Ryn, which. You guys have him now too. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But I think overall,
get the band back together.
Yeah, I think overall though, like the positioning is what Berube preaches very well and does a good job with his players. But yeah, scoring it. I would say that right now it seems that way. Give it a couple months maybe, and you'll start seeing your guys put the puck in the net a little bit more.
Well, Toronto.
Yeah, that's how it was in St. Louis at first too.
I mean, Toronto, I'm looking at the goals for in the Eastern Conference and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 11th in goals scored in the Eastern Conference. So not with 82 goals. And the last place team, the Red Wings, in goals scored, 73. So they've only scored 9 more goals than the Red Wings. Now, granted, they've only given up 72, which is best in the East. They've given up the least amount of goals in the East. So yeah, that's I think everyone in St. Louis does wish Berube well in Toronto. And actually, I'm one of those guys that for years I took some kind of I chuckled when I was when we'd see Toronto losing the playoffs. But now the past couple of years, it's got to be like, I'd really like to see them actually do something in the playoffs. It's getting to the point where it's like, okay, come on, do something already.
I'm with you. You always say that you give me the chaos, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how I am too with like other teams. Like I love seeing the implosion of Leafs fans every year. Yeah. But the minute they signed Berube, and I think I even said this on the show when it happened, was I'm like, damn it, Now I'm rooting for Toronto because I really, really respect Craig Berube. And it would be, and I'm with you. Like I've always said too, like Buffalo Sabres, Vancouver Canucks, Jesus Christ, those fans need a Stanley Cup. Like I want to see teams succeed too. But yeah, with Craig Berube there, I'm going to be rooting for Toronto a little bit in the playoffs in 2025.
And plus, it's often Toronto and Boston. It seems like, right? So who wants Boston to win?
Toronto.
Who wants fucking Boston to win anything? So yeah, absolutely Toronto. I was so rooting so hard for Toronto to win for multiple reasons last year. Because
and then again,
because there was the Montgomery issue with if Boston had lost, if Toronto had beaten Boston, Montgomery might get fired, and that's why the Blues were kind of holding out, waiting to hire Bannister. So
and on the flip side of that, I'll admit part of me was also like I hated almost rooting against Boston because I like Jim Montgomery so much. So I was like, I want to see you lose, but I also want to see Montgomery succeed. But
not me.
Hopefully we just get that in St. Louis now.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with Montgomery. We were over the moon when Montgomery was hired. Couldn't believe it. Just because we wanted it. And I was telling Bill earlier in the show that it's one of those things where very rarely do you see something extreme that the fan base really, really wants. Like, trade so-and-so and get this guy, he's available. It's like, oh my gosh, that's not going to happen because your coach was just signed to an extension or whatever. And it happened. Bannister got fired and Montgomery was hired. I was like, that was you can call it extreme because Bannister was just hired as the coach, but it was like that was the thing the fan base really wanted. And how often do you see it actually materialize, right?
Yep.
For a team.
Well, and again, you said it earlier with Boston, you were kind of rooting for him to lose in the playoffs last year just because it's like fire Montgomery so we can hire him.
That was the vibe, right? That he was going to get fired, and after the day after the first game of the second round.
Yep.
That's when Bannister was extended, basically hired full time.
It was very obvious, and so I think even Bannister, the minute Montgomery got fired, he was like, "Oh hell!" Like he knew what was coming. He had to know.
I shouldn't have bought that house.
Yeah, right.
Well, he's still getting paid.
Right.
Right.
He's still gonna. It was only a 2-year contract, which should have been writing on the wall anyway. And Montgomery gets a 5-year contract. Whew.
Yep.
So.
Winning unlimited ads for the Leafs fan Josh DiSavino. Josh DiSavino. I feel like that's how I need to say it. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I did that. Lots of perfect passing plays before a shot under Berube. Not much challenging the slot, but more perimeter play. Harkens back to the convo on Dimitra, Boys, and Tarasenko. I missed that, but I imagine you guys talked about this earlier.
Yeah, as far as, we talked about when's the last time the Blues, maybe you can toss a name out there. The last time the Blues had a player who could fire a one-timer like Bolduc can. Right. Like his goal against Vancouver, the high slot, top of the circles, right, that Holloway found him and just let a rip one time ago and in. When's the last time the Blues had a guy that could shoot like that with a one-timer?
All right, I'm going to give a cheating answer, and then I'll give a real answer. Cheating answer would be Tage Thompson. When he was here for his brief stint,
not with
he
us,
was
though.
Firing the puck every chance he got. Now, he missed the net a lot, but there was a lot of times we were I remember
which is
on
why
the
he
show,
was moved on so quickly, right?
Right,
That's
and I
not
remember
a
on the
Berube
show
kind of guy.
us even saying, like, man, that dude, that's what we need. We need people that will shoot. So come on, Tage Thompson, keep playing, keep doing that. So that's my cheat answer. But I will say real answer, Al McInnes comes to mind.
Well, he was further back than me.
Yep. and in that same realm, Scott Young.
Yeah, that's who I said.
Scott Young was brought up, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scott Young,
that's a good one.
Pavel Dimitra, and to a lesser extent, Dimitra. If you go a little bit further,
Perron.
or a little bit
David
sooner,
Perron.
Yeah, Perron. Yeah, but he was a wrist shot guy. He wasn't a one-timer.
Oh, He was a one-timer guy on the far boards on the power play.
He had some good one-time goals.
He did.
Yeah.
He used that super short stick.
Let's see, I'm going down
All
this
guys that we have jerseys of on the show. Young, McInnes, Dimitra, all by me, and I know you've got a Perron.
Yep.
I'm looking down the list here of Blues scorers. Yeah, there's Young, and just if a name jumps out at me, yeah, he was good at that. Boys was brought up, yeah.
Shattenkirk.
Buchnevich could be that guy, but
little bit.
But not as much as he
has to make a wrong decision first.
Right. And again, the puck finds him again. Then he makes
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess. I won't spend too much time on this, but yeah, there are a few names listed. That's fine. I just thought there would be more recent than Boys and Dimitra and Tarasenko wasn't really one though. Tarasenko was a one-time guy.
Towards the end of his tenure here, he was doing a lot better with the one-timer, but yeah, he was not.
By saying a lot better, he might have taken a half a dozen more.
Right. Yes. That was definitely the biggest issue with him. It was just how many times did we say, like, if he one-times that puck, that's a goal. If he one-times the puck, he's a 50-goal scorer.
Yeah, and we talked about that. His first game back from the one shoulder surgery, he let that massive one-timer go that just like upper glove goal. I was like, holy hell!
Yeah,
where did that come from?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got, boys. Short show for you tonight, Jeff.
Long show for you fellas, over 2 hours. We haven't hit that in a while.
Well, just over 2 hours, I think. We would have finished about 10 minutes ago, but you jumped on.
That's my fault. Yeah, go ahead and blame me.
It would have been right at 2 hours, I think. Yeah. So,
Bill, by the way, did not comment. That is a beautiful sweater you're wearing.
Thank you. We talked about it a little early on. Actually, we almost missed beers of the show because we talked so much about the sweater.
Right. We started the beer segment, and I noticed Bill's sweater. Talked about it for a while, and then we started to move on. I'm like, we didn't even talk about beers. So
that'll
hold
happen.
on. Hold the phone. That will wrap up episode 11 of season 14 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, I still have Higher Monty. Let's go Blues.
Retain Monty forever. Let's go Blues.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting app for Let's Go Blues Minute and Let's Go Blues.
All the kids say, smash that like and subscribe.
Smash it. Yep.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sports. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.